Have you ever not been to be recognized in a public space? And every tribe that has tuned in.
MURNIs. Drink it cold. GPM Media Group. Zvazvino kariri GP Media Group yenele yakanena kare ndichikhala votowi vateveri vavo vachiri roneto ngofodwa zvitaratani richikupfuka ai vongodhifa chirilo chavo. GP Media Group vovuyenga mulenje muswa nahone vari vatozviita kufana na matomoni shumele kudhiye vathuni nga ndira heyi vakofodha minyanya dzi-birthday celebration funerals live streaming na indoor photoshoot kha vatogidi vasvike Matidza complex office number 21 Thohoya Ndou lutingo ndi 0762788676.
And every tribe that has tuned in. Welcome to another special, fantastic, marvelous, elegant, beautiful show of Celebrity Couch Edition. And ladies and gentlemen, today we're coming live from GP Media Group Studio, situated at Matidza Complex, office number 21. They do indoor photo shoot, weddings, funeral, birthday celebration, and live streaming. To get their service, do call them on 076-278-8676 or just visit the studio here at Matidza Complex, office number 21, GP Media Group, Research Batuni. Anyways, the making of visuals is continuing today with one of Venda's hottest diva. Not just a diva, but hottest diva. One of the best record label owner from Venda, a radio presenter, or they say an entertainment guru. Ladies and gentlemen, Denga Pele Nepal.
Oh, you definitely did your homework. Okay. Please help me.
Of course, in the right. Of course, we don't work out. No longer I'm going to go. Okay, Pele,
my name is Flight D. And Pele is my second name. But I started with Flight D before Rita Dee was born.
You know my face.
Really, Flight D.
Number, yeah.
My face.
Okay.
It's my second. It's my maiden name.
Okay. Rita Dee, and what about Rita?
Rita, no, I want to feel as nature blind, like I'm a natural beauty and stuff, like beauty and stuff. So nature nature blind. So nature we're going to do Ramatakani, Ramoni. The weekend is really to want to do Damuni. So Bangalore was going to do Tamali. So it started there in the bushes. My dad's going to do Tamali, you know. So I started there. So when I joined the entertainment industry and as a radio presenter, I was called Fly D because I guess it was so fly then, things were so fly. So I was called Fly D until when I realized, no man, my calling is actually music, but not me as an artist. So that's where I grew from Fly D to Rita Dee, because Rita was already on the streets. Flighty was the radio name, so it was already on the stage, but then Rita was the boy's Kasi name. So I took Kasi and I took my first name because I inherited my first name from my great grandfather. So
and you met him?
Yeah, I did. He died in 1994.
How old were you at the time?
How old was I? I'm not very good at maths. But yeah, I got my second name. My first name Denga from Denga Simon Ramupi, who was one of the managers for Charles Glass back in apartheid days. So he was one of the smartest ones.
Levels.
Yeah.
You had me doing interview, man, because I was doing research on you. And I on a video on TV. We were doing an interview. Why did you decide to do this interview? Besides the fact I was with Vanda Boy and we had some talk, but why did you decide to do this?
I had to do interviews because remember when I joined the industry, I didn't want to be in front. I wanted to be backstage. So as hyperactive, as energetic as I am, I feel like cameras are for superstars and artists and not us. We give them the
superstar.
I'm not a superstar, man. I make superstars for a living, remember? So I'm the one who brings cameras to them. So I don't have to compete on the same level with the superstars or the artists. So I don't see a reason for me to compete on that platform because I know where I compete and where I'm situated. Like behind the scenes, I know I compete with the big boys.
I want to deal with the big boys.
I compete with the big boys because I'm one of those.
I understand that we had to reschedule this interview from last week Wednesday because you were attending the MBs.
Yes, I was in Durban.
Yeah, and then I'm really grateful that you came today and I appreciate it.
And I'm leaving on Tuesday.
but with that thing here, MBs, I had to ask my colleague Nisha about this because then she makes an Ibiza, if not as well.
Oh, Ibiza.
Yeah,
Ibiza is in Spain.
Yes, Ibiza.
And then Imbizo it's the biggest African music conference that's hosted in South Africa. It's only hosted in Durban. It's been existing for more than 20 years, man.
So I want you to tell me about it.
Music Imbizo. It's owned by one of my mentors. High five, Mr. Spembele. I was selected for the South African Music Imbizo. My first time was in 2019. So when they flew me down to Durban, I was representing Limpopo. I was the only female. I was the only delegate from Limpopo, I must say. So yeah, they called me that side, and then I did make my presence felt. That's when I became very close friends with DJ Tira. That's how Ria Venda came about. Came about me being nominated to go to the Music Imbizo, and then me and Tira had some issues, some unfinished business. I came to one of my shows, he was hit by a vehicle, and then there was tribalism, so me and him spoke about that. So I suggested, can we do a collaboration with one Venda artist? And then he was like, yeah, so we can do social cohesion. So they booked me there, so I was like, let me take one of my artists to Durban, because I'm booked already to Durban. So just make sure I can't book accommodations and stuff, use the Music Imbizo's accommodation, so we can do that. And that's how it went. It went haywire, and they loved me from there. So 2020, the lockdown, they sent me an email. So I was on the virtual one representing Limpopo, because I did, you do your job good, and so people want more. So this year they were like, we only want Rita from Limpopo, so that's why I went back.
So it was not your first time?
No, it's my second time going to Durban, and then my third time doing the Music Imbizo, because in 2020 I was on the virtual Music Imbizo celebrating Africa.
What goes down there, Kaini?
It's a whole week. It's a very beautiful networking platform, because that's where I met Nota Baloi in 2019. That's when the authorities, my friend. Hey Nota! Okay, yeah, that's where I met Nota Baloi at Music Imbizo. That's where I met Nota's ex-wife. Hi Berita. That's where I met. That's when I became friends with Scoop Makatini, and they even put me on the podcast with Miss Cosmo, Speedstorm, and I did great in 2019. You should check it out online.
Okay.
And then that's where I met Gigi Lamaine. That's where I met Nastasi Talaman, the Godfathers. Hey, Yeah, so that's why it's like a networking platform. You have workshops. So I was part of the delegates. When I went in 2019, I was part of the curators. So I did one in the sense that the owner of the music industry came to my room and said, the main event I want you to be on stage. I'm like, me? On stage? Like, yeah. So then I ended up being the head delegate for the final on a Saturday. So there's also showcases. That's where artists from Ghana, Kenya, hi Echo Sax, and Sue, man, I met them there. They're from Ghana. Hi. So yeah, that's where global artists come and perform. You find the workshops at Moses Mabida, and then you find the showcases at the warehouse, and the chairmans. Like there's different venues, different shows, live bands all over the world. So everybody who's musicals, everybody who's important, from the Orchards to Wena Music to Sony to Universal to Capasso to Sampro, like everybody who plays a role in the music ecosystem. I call it an ecosystem because it's a dog-eat shit industry. Sorry to say that, but yeah, so it's like that. So everybody who's working hard on that different departments, but in the music industry, who are very big globally, are they? So that's where you network with those people. That's how you exchange shows and stuff. That's where we find taking ourselves to Barcelona and stuff. So you have to attend the stuff like that. You know? Yeah. But the Barcelona one is different. It was not in Ibiza, but then I mean that's how you network. Yeah, because everybody important is there, and everybody is there to change and exchange their knowledge and share ideas and share concepts and see how we can just reinvent the music industry globally, like in Africa and outside Africa.
At least now I have
an idea.
I mean, okay, I want us to go back to your childhood because I heard some wild stories where you were so naughty back then.
Yeah.
You were expelled there.
So many times. No, I went to so many schools.
You were expelled many times.
Maybe it was the music. It was getting my head. But I was one of the smartest ones, funny enough.
Because you became
I was the first president of Nazarene, yes. And I was always perfect.
I want us to go back to your high school days. How were your high school days?
Oh, my high school days were awesome. I can take them back anytime. And I'm one of those people who don't regret. I learn from my mistake. I don't regret doing anything in my life. I don't regret doing my mistakes, because if I didn't have my mistakes, I wouldn't be who I am right now.
Besides, life doesn't have a manual book.
Something like that. Sometimes those mistakes are fun to do, man.
Yeah.
Some fun times.
That's true.
So in my high school days, okay, I went to primary. My primary was not complicated because it was my grandmother's school, so it was not that complicated. Yeah. Okay, I started at Nazarene some time, but then I stayed there for a year, then I left. And then I went to Ilmer Learning Center, where until grade 7. And then grade 8, boom, I went to Miri Secondary School, where I'm going to. Yeah. Oh my God, you know grade 8, man, you're very naughty, like you can't wait to explore the world, like you adolescents, like now you see books coming up, like it's a new lifestyle, you know. And I had an older sister to Miri, like Muchinya, and my late sister. She was in grade 10 when I was in grade 8. So she was one of the strongest ones. So I had to be naughty because I knew somebody would cover me up, even if you know, I've got backup, you know. So yeah. I went to Miri Secondary School, and then I was much of a noise maker, but still I loved studying because I was always at the A class. So naughty studying and noise maker was one of my things, you know. I did, when I was in Miri, I started doing beauty pageants because I was very thin. I was like, I started doing beauty pageants. I always loved a way to escape the class. Okay. Yeah, so I started doing beauty pageants. Entertainment stuff. I started beauty pageants because I was a size 28, so I had this dream. I used to watch a lot of fashion TV. So I had this dream then that I'm going to be I will have my own beauty clothing range, be my own model because I'm a 28. So I had that small fantasy. So I started then. Didn't really work out because grade 10 I got expelled. Right? Mr. Ramgona had enough. He gave me a lot of chances that mentioned. Thank you wherever you are, Mr. Ramgona. He gave me a lot of chances. Like I remember I got expelled the first year when I was in grade 8. 4 times. And then when my results came, I was under top 10. So my dad went to school and the principal was like, but her results are good, she's still young. I can beat her up because he used to hit hard, that man. Yeah. So I didn't know that I didn't mind being hit up. So I went back to grade 9. Trouble. Grade 9, 10, they said, no, madam, we're tired. Like, the wardrobe is full of your cases. We can't do this anymore. So that's when they decided to let me lose. But anyways, I've always been a free spirit. So I left there and went to Nazarene. My aunt and my dad, because my mom was no more then, decided, no, let's take her to a Christian school. Maybe if we take her to a Christian school, there'll be biblical studies. Maybe the energy levels will lower down. Maybe she will come back to life like other kids and be other kids' age. Because I grew very quick. I don't know what happened to me, but I didn't play with my age groups. I used to play with older people. I hanged out a lot with older people in a sense that I also felt like I was their age. So there's so many parts of age that I passed. I grew up very quickly. Yeah. So then that's when I went to Nazarene. Nazarene became the first female president in history of SRC. Yeah. And then
How did it feel? How did it feel?
It was good because they gave me my own office, free
Your own office?
Yeah, man, I had my own office. Yes, my own office. And free uniform.
What were you doing in your office?
I had a newsletter then, and then school newsletter for Nazarene, and then I had a dance group for Dunuza, dance group in memory of the late Maleke. So I was doing Dunuza and Sarafina, a lot of activities.
The things that you were doing, you came up with.
Yes.
Even the newsletter.
Yes, even the newsletter. But that's when, after that, because I was busy doing Univen Radio as Fly D and then school newsletter, that's when I joined the Makoya Gossip, and that's where I invented Makoya Gossip, because there was one in Mira. Yes, that's when. Hey, Kiana, it's been a long
Before we go there, I want to know the story. You were also expelled for changing the school locks.
Yes. That was in a different school. No, man. I wanted to leave. Okay, when I left Nazarene, I passed well, but then now the problem was most of my friends at Ndiri moved schools to Hemen at Technical College, which was where now Taban Mall is. That's where I matriculated. So yeah, my friends moved from Mary to Tech. So I was at Nazarene. So my friends convinced me to convince my parents to take me from Nazarene to Tech, so we can go all night.
Yeah.
No, I went to my aunt because my mom was home, and I was like, you know what? Now I know the Bible because every day I have biblical studies with Pastor Mundao. Thank you, Pastor. I know the Bible because of you. I always had a one-on-one every day with him in his house. When it was Shivena period, I was doing biblical with him, trying to transform me to loving God and allow myself to know the Holy Spirit and stuff. So yeah. Then I convinced my aunt who is Babyliko's mom, by the way. I convinced her, okay, let me go to Yemen because it's closer to peace, and I was staying at peace with my godmother, my aunt. So she was like, yes. She didn't know that she was taking me to
where your friends are.
Yeah, where everybody's waiting for me. I left around June. I remember when I was living in Nazarene, Pastor Munda was like, no, I can even pay for school fees for 3 months. What not? I was like, me enough for primary. Not anymore. Now I want to go to the big boys. So I went there. When I got there, it was good at first because everybody was there. Sheikhs were there. Like everybody from my previous high school was in my class because I was doing science and maths. So it was like all times. Until I didn't know I would finish that year. Started well, marks sharp because they took me because the MD there Tech took me because of the marks. So everything was nice. Until June, I think I was too comfortable. That's when I started changing locks. Yeah, I remember so that day I left with the plier. Yeah, I took one and then I had to cut the whole fence down. But I got punished for that. But anyways, then that was when
that idea because you are a lady, you're supposed to
I don't know what happened to my brain, but maybe because my name is for my grandfather. Sometimes I think that thing messed me up. But yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
or maybe because I take after my father, and yeah,
You're
maybe.
right.
Maybe.
It was not it.
Now he always says Zojela Zianana, so I always look at him and go like, what are you trying to say? Zojela Zianana. So you say, okay, maybe not you, but yeah, maybe, who knows? I think so. We're not different characters, though. So maybe. I don't want to defend him and say anything else. He's a legend, so I don't have to say much.
You portray yourself as a tomboy. Because you used to play a lot with boys or
90% of my friends are boys, so my whole family knows 90% of my friends are boys.
And your siblings?
My siblings, we got 7 girls and 2 boys. But I'm the boy of the boys. The 2 boys. Fari and the one knows I'm the boy of the 2 boys.
You're boy number 3.
Yeah, I'm number 1 and number 2 and number 3, even if the other one is older than me. He knows. But I'm being honest, he knows. He knows. So yeah, at hashtag, that's when things started going haywire. I needed money. I stopped the radio. Started drinking. And
You're still in school?
I was in grade 12. And then I started selling weeds because I needed money. Weed, cigarettes, Rizla, stuff like that. So I started selling weed at school. They ended up catching me, but very, very late when I had good money.
At home or at school?
At school. Hey, home, I wouldn't. I was selling at school, man. Because I had 2 campuses. It was Tech and ProTech. So those schools were packed. Where this Tabani Mall, there were 2 schools there.
Yeah.
So I had my target this side and this side, and it was that school that attend older people.
Yeah.
So older people do older things.
Yeah.
So me, I ended up feeling like I'm older. That's why I was saving older people. Something like that. They call it stage, but I call it life, man. It's like growing up, maturity. Maybe if I didn't sell weed that time, I wouldn't know how to count money. Yeah, the simple things, man.
You're attracting you, love attraction.
Yeah, it was me saying, I want you money and I'm gonna come get you. It was kind of that attitude.
The dreadlocks. Are you a Rastafarian because of heart or because you love
I was once a Rastafarian. There was a time when I was very spiritual and Nisa domed me up and I quit meat and we opened a church there, Shandima with Wofandi, Wojara, Buchiro, and then we did Sabbath, we tried something new. People fell for the trap, but they still didn't work out.
Wait, what did you mean?
He's the one who came and blabbered me. Then when I was told, again I was not that tough, but now you can't blabber me. Never.
Because you told me he was also a Rastafarian.
Yeah, that time when he was a Rastafarian, when he came back from Blue. So there's still a church in Shandima, jobless Fandi, but I had to run him. Nah, man, it's sometimes if you're doing something because somebody else is advising you to, you might find it's not you, it's him. So which means you living for him. So then that's why I quit, because it was not me, it's not my personality. So I was like, I'm not really doing this for myself. I opened my eyes 8 months later, like no, I feel like I'm hypnotized by these people. I felt like I'm starting to follow a lot of rules that I can't even tend to understand myself. And then I'm starting to live a different life which does not really dwell in with my lifestyle. And which means I'm being fake to myself and trying to convince those people that now I'm so holiness, Jah, Rastafari, blessed, I can see it's full of snakes, So me, I hate snakes. I'm a straight person. If I don't like you, I don't like you. And I cannot pretend.
That's what you were like, right?
Yeah, I told them, shit, niggas, let me go back to my life. At least it makes money for me. It does not tell my time. It does not make me feel as holy as I am, but then I am who I am.
How old are they?
Who?
The dreadlocks.
They're always old. I'm always getting older. I've never really cut my hair. Sometimes I put in extensions just to flavor up my African look, my tomboyish kind of Rastafarian flow. But me, I'm as natural as they come. I'm not a makeup chick. I don't wear high heels. I don't wear dresses. This is things I don't do, man. I love shorts. I love pants. I love being free. I love tracksuits. Like I'm those flawless people. I don't like elegancy and too fake and polished shit. Nah, I'm not that.
But do you think they are, or are they more than 15 years old?
I'm way older. I'm way older, baby. I'm way older. Yeah, man. Hey, I passed 30, man.
No, I mean the dreadlocks.
The dreadlocks comes with me because if you knew me from grade 8, I've always had dreadlocks. If you ask somebody who knew me from grade 8, primary at least I had African Afro hair.
Okay.
And then I was one of those people who fought for dreadlocks at New because when I went there they didn't allow dreadlocks, so I had to plant wool kind of dreads, those quanta every time. So when the school closed, that was the only time I could leave my hair brief and then go back to school. I have to. So there was a time when I was like, I'm going to, you can beat me every day for my hair, man.
While you're talking, I'm wondering or I'm thinking or what's keeping you this young, but I can guess. You tell me if I'm wrong or right.
Okay, what's keeping you?
Drinking water more often?
Yes.
Having one partner?
Yes.
And not minding what people are saying?
Yes, and your happiness. Yeah, you got it right.
So the right?
Yeah, there's something missing there, but yeah.
Okay.
Right.
How does it make you feel, Musi, power because I keep on telling you power because I was expecting you.
I hardly I keep my surroundings very small, but still my network very huge, and I open doors for everybody. But my personal surrounding is very small. So it's most of the people call me Rita, Ajaledi, D, so when the power it's more official. That's when I'm going to board meetings. That's when I'm going to this important big meetings when I power. Yeah, but not the community. That's where we appreciate our own names and nicknames, so-called their names. Yeah, so I it's fine, man. It depends. Me, I don't see myself as my age. So I don't think I'll see myself as my age 10 years later. Age is my age, man. I'll be working for 40 soon, huh?
Is it?
Yeah, I'm going there, slightly but surely, Age is nothing but a number, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. At the age of 15, you got into radio, Univen FM?
Yes, I started when I was 15. But my first radio gig, I was given by Big Up Chain by Ranani Squiwiru, Randy S.
Yes.
I was in Polokwane one day I was waiting for my dad at SABC Studios. It was school holidays. So there was a show, a youth show called Kabambenarini. It was hosted by Ranani Squiwiru. So they had another topic there. It was a silly topic though. So they needed ideas. So I was sitting outside and there were kids in the studio, but they were not hitting it hard. So I had to run to the studio and go tell them my point of view, which ended up being the best point of view. So I told them, this is what I think, and I think we're talking about what my brain is always fresh. I don't know, I don't know for one, Nina one, as you can chiwango, like Nakoromoso, now one as you can chiwango. Dubalina Ab, Udova, Aviana Trumbo, over duality, Maramota is drinking chiwango. So me, I was supporting Uria, Abba, over better shoes, and as written Uria. I couldn't add the what's out there. Jamana Shango flows you, courage, or the there's not going to be any pregnant. So it was more of that topic. So after that, and then was like, power, but for rapper, so we are now honoring. My hobbies were not, I'm not a girly type. I used to play with boys. So I loved radio. I loved music. I loved repeat lyrics times 3 chorus. So I ended up just going to Univen Radio. Jones, at least Jones was screen Jones. Hey Jones, Mr. Lava. Jones, just the fact you read, Alex Nachapasho Kogonia, National Corino newsroom. That thing used to make me feel like, maybe it can be me. I don't know if it was my dad, but I just felt like this isn't the kind of space I want to be when I grew up. And I was 13 then, 13, 14. So Mr. Baraya, we are in Univen. I thought this is Univen. And the back of the news, time in. Never times the person was waiting. So finally, Jones Najipisa gave me a chance on this breakfast show and say, you know what, you can just come and do your shit. And that's when Makwaya Gossip was born. That's where the Hot Seat was born. That's where Fly D was born. Fly D was invented by Jones Najipis. I did Jones Najipis's first jingle. Jones. See, when he went to Kalapa.
All along I thought maybe Brad Pitt was the one who had you in.
No, yo, hey, you don't know my father. Yo, my father, you have to wake yourself up. My father was not really, okay, you know when it's like me, if I'm supposed to have a child right now, and my child wants to join music, the first thing I'll tell them, don't do that. Maybe be a lawyer, be a doctor, be like me. My other sister is a doctor. Kangal is a lawyer, is an advocate. My other sister is an accountant. So my dad always had that thing of I'm smart. So I was very smart at school in the sense that my dad wanted me to be a lawyer or a doctor. He never wanted me to be in this kind of thing where I am. Yeah, so he had to protect me. When I started, he used to shut doors for me. So I can see how tough and how hard. So he never pulled any strings on me. There was a time when he was shocked to find out that he sexually flight.
Oh, because already was in the industry and he know how it.
Yes, and he knows how ruthless the industry is for females, and he knows how it's male dominated. He knows how people have to sleep with some people sometimes to get big gigs, and maybe he didn't see me having the guts of venturing out, being independent, and not sleeping my way up. Yeah.
You know, I'm asking this thing, Yori. Maybe Brad Pitt was the one who opened the doors for you at Univen, because personally I believe that you have got so many things in life because you knew someone. I wore this t-shirt today because I believe
I didn't know anybody.
I believe that you have got some things in life because you knew someone.
I believe you can make your own contacts. I made my own contacts. Me going to Univen, just staying in studio made me become friends with Alex Lechapash, made me become friends with Jones Nechipesi, with DJ Lolo. It made me become friends with Shaluma Mamadima. You know, there's a whole lot of people who come from Univen, man. Robo Aram from Ezi. Like, those people are Univen products. Wangereza, Flavor Dagada. Like, me being there made me interact with those people. So, Namsa Univen community, Univen radio community, what drive I used to go. So, those people saw me every day, and that's when I got an opportunity. Your eye and Rita is always there, and this one, she has a voice for radio, man. Let's try her out.
Let's talk. Relate to this. Life is not what you know, but who you know.
Not really. Life can be what you know. Who you know can just boost what you know. I think they wrote it a bit wrong for me, because me, I'm telling you from my life experience, I had to push without no contact. I started my company with a zero budget, no funding, no sponsors, and I had to work in to make my money in. I don't know if you get it.
I get it. Univen FM, the time you were at school, because you were presenting while you were at school.
Yes.
Yes. What were you presenting that time? And what were your mates saying that time?
I was nasty as always. I was crazy as shit. I invented, I realized there's no hype in vendor, and the industry was not existing then. Artists were just like, you didn't see a vendor artist on TV, you didn't see them in big stages, their shows didn't pass the toll gates. So that really content me. And their booking rates were the same for 10-15 years until I could talk and stuff. So growing up in a musical kind of dominated family with my dad being in the radio and stuff, artists were always there. We used to go to jazz festivals, so I see how they suffered. So I grew up seeing, me, I don't dream to be an artist. If this one, it's like this, and wants money from my father, so stuff like those. Yeah. So music on its own didn't have a consistent event. So that's when I decided, let me create something that will create a hype, like Mugozi, what. So that's where I came with Makoya music. And then I went to Ngereza. Ngereza had, you see when you buy mirror, in the middle there was this Makoya outlet where there's entertainment here and stuff like this, but they didn't have a gossip column. So I presented to them. I was not a journalist. I was still in high school. So I just wanted to present it to them. I have this idea, Makoya gossip. That's where I will write all the shit that's happening in the industry. If when you went to a show, you have been bathed and you're smelling, I write you there. If there's something you've done wrong, I write you there. And funny enough, most of my friends are artists. So I'm always in the studios, in Bomo, Timen, Pesi, Feel. So I was always with the boys. So I know the secrets. I know what they're up to. I know their flaws and shit like that. So I was like, that's what I'm gonna write. But in my head, it was to create hype so people can start talking about vendor. So people can start talking about the industry. People can make fun of it as much as we used to talk about what's happening in Joburg and KZN's industry, how we used to argue about those artists. I wanted people to start interacting about their own artists as the ones in Johannesburg. So that's when we invented Magoya Gossip, and the newspaper started selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Because now we had a new market, which is adolescent, teenagers, youth.
Yeah.
Now they can buy the newspaper, so they can just read the latest gossip, who did what, and so that's when Magoya Gossip was born.
It's like that grade 12 newspaper, people buy it.
Yeah, the one to yes.
Yeah.
So now they're involved in the discussions in the newspaper. So that's when I went to radio and said, why don't you, because Mira used to come out on a Friday and I was doing the breakfast show on Saturday. So I was like, why don't we take that column, because you see it's making headlines, it's trending out there. So why don't you take the column and then I present it already in the breakfast show so that I can create more hype. And but before we go gossip, I come with an artist and I grill that artist. So the grill was the hot seat. After the hot seat is Magoya Gossip. It's the overall of the gossip.
Okay.
So I put you as an artist and I grill you. I ask you questions that they will never ask you in interviews and I know the answers. You know?
Yeah.
So after that we come with the overall of the Magoya Gossip newsletter and then I take out of what I said.
So what Mira is doing now was your idea?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
It's very good.
You know, so yeah, man, it was you know when you explode, you start exploring departments now, and then radio can make you and trap you, so to say that, you know, but it can make you, it can help you to be known, popular, you know, popularity, so people can know you. So when you do your things, people can follow you and know who that person is. But then sometimes it can break you because you become too constant and too comfortable and forget that you are not ready. Which means you can stay there for 40 years and then back out, and then after that the radio still lives on. So me, I do want to be part of a legacy that can say, Rita, leave, now we're tired of you, and still continue. I want to create an empire that if I die, my name will still exist.
But are they paying you? Are they still paying you for that thing?
No, man. It's not Magoya Gossip, it's something else. That's one of
It's a concept.
Yeah, but then, nigga, concept what? We didn't even know about copyright then. I was working for white people. Hello. You know, it's Dash babies. I wanted to redevelop it, and then we did a website, and I took some of my old columns and put them there until I got a call from the white guys saying, I don't own the copyrights of this thing. So I had to take them out from the website.
Yo.
Also,
But it was an idea.
yeah, but it's cool, man. That's how we grow. That's how we learn.
That's what Brabet was preventing you from.
Yeah, but he was preventing a soldier among soldiers.
Yeah, after you started radio, your mom passed away.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
Yeah, that was a hardcore one. Eh? My mom was my world, man. My mom was a giant. My mom was a swing. My mom, I can say a lot about that woman. That Latin complexion, beautiful woman. She passed on in a car accident. She was working in Polokwane, head local government. Yeah, that was tough. 2003. Yeah, it was 2003. So, and my mom's side is 3 siblings. It's my older sister, me, and my younger brother. In my dad's side, we 9. So I grew up in my dad's side, and then it's a bit complicated. But then I was not very close with my mom's firstborn, my older sister from my mom's side, because I didn't grow up with her. And so now it was a bit tricky when my mom passed on. Now she's supposed to be my legal guardian, but then I still had my father and my aunt, my godmother, who's my Periko's mom, Miss Pauline Rane. So it was tricky. I think that is what caused me to outlash most. The time when people felt I was being naughty, I think it was the pain and the hurt of my mom's death that was coming out, and I had nobody to talk to. And after my mom's funeral, everybody left. Like everybody left. Honestly, you like 15 and everybody leaves you and you're alone. You don't even know. Everything was being done for me. Now I have to do stuff for myself. So I think I even worked in clubs as a bar lady after after school so I can buy myself groceries. There was a time when I was working at Saints. There was a time when I was collecting bottles after school at Montequila, where it's now Debonies in the Plaza. There was a time where I had to join, even when I was selling weed. I was not selling weed because I wanted to sell weed. It's because I wanted the money and my mom was no more and I had nobody who was really taking care of me. Not saying my dad was not taking care of me. I wanted to be independent. My dad was paying my school fees. He was giving me maintenance allowance. But then I felt there was something more. Maybe my mom injected a lot of lifestyles in me. That's why I don't see fancy things no more, because I grew up in fancy things. So I don't like this Gucci's brands and shit. I don't see those things because I grew in those things. That's why I saw value in life and not material stuff. So I had to calculate my money, make my money straight hustle. The best part is I've never sold my body. That's one thing I always. I've never sold my body, and I've never. I never got to trade my body for money, like not even had to have a boyfriend. That's why I ended up having a lot of male friends, because those male friends had to protect my situation.
I get you.
Ndathi ngaphasa inimsazi mara then it's out. Or inini kono mphalefti echikolo. So a lot of people who knows me know I was once what do you call it? But it's a name for I was once a pimp, and then but not in a fancy way.
But you know, radio-wise, how did it affect your radio career since you just started it?
That time I just told myself, let me fall in love with something that does not shout at me, that does not judge me. So radio was that. Going to radio was a cry out loud. I was trying to run away from the pain and the shut and the loneliness and the deceit. Deceit saying people I thought who were close to my mom and me were nowhere to be found and nowhere to be seen, and it was me and the world and me against the world. So I had to care for myself first and take care of my younger brother at the same time, because my younger brother was very, very young. So I felt like whatever money I make, I have to make my younger brother not feel the pain. So I'd rather not eat and make sure he eats. So that's the maybe. But if my mom didn't die, I wouldn't have the heart I have, because I've shared a lot of my life with a lot of people. Like I've no I was about vanji ndikuro bajia ndadzura navo ndavaitira zvizvino nanomnetbit nomvesa maybe ndandikushava. There was a time when I sat down with a therapist and she was like, Rita, why were you doing all those things? And yeah, I had to at some point. Like I just wanted to down my shit down and sit and talk my shit out. So I can help. It was years back, even years back. Okay. So I was so scared of my pain that I was trying to protect the world from that pain, which ended up being my pain. So you can't run away from pain. You just have to face your pain and face your reality and deal with it before it deals with you. If it can come back after 10 years or 20 years.
Besides your aunt, who was paying the mother figure to you?
I was my mother and my father, but my father was my strength because he was the financial part. Like saying, when I say the financial part was my dad was paying for my school fees. That's why I was always changing fancy schools, and he was buying my school uniform and maybe giving money for pocket money and stuff, transport money. But it was not enough because there was no constant love that he gave me while growing up with him, because I was not with him then. So it was way different. You can shower me with gifts and what, but it's not the same. Because who do I talk to at the end of the day? Who makes sure I get fed? So I have to feed myself. So that's why maybe some people can say I was naughty. I was not naughty. I guess I was trying to. It was shout out for help, but in just an outlash.
From radio to newspaper, have you ever done TV?
I tried. I tried Mubango at some hot point, easily workout.
Like it TV because you were there for a short period of time, or you
a lot of my friends like Bopande, Sylvester, a lot of my friends they ended up being there, you know, and I did some extras and shit. But then the issue is now with TV is different. Like I told you, me, I'm a born leader. I don't love following, I love leading. You know, I make decisions. I make things
like the movie that you're making.
You made your own way. Yeah. So when you go to casting crew where everybody is there and now that you're going to audition, now I'm just a piece of the puzzle. I didn't say right to wake up at 7. Sorry, I'm not saying actresses and actresses. No, I'm saying me. I'm actually different from other people. Some people love the camera in front of the camera. Some people want to be behind the cameras. So I want to be behind the cameras. So I want to sit down and brainstorm and be with the production team and come with the content and create something and make it alive. You know. So I didn't see myself as a superstar. That's why I didn't. I thought, nah, man, I cannot work for somebody. Why should I go work for a production that's based in Joburg, whereas there's nothing in Venda? Because remember me, I started in Venda and I died, lives, breathe, smell, sleep Venda. Wherever I go, there's Venda. I take my Venda. Wherever I move with Venda. That's the reason why I'm here.
Oh, it was not because maybe they were like, we can work with you.
No. Everybody can work with me. They love working with me. I'm a vibe.
But presenting, do you think you can do presenting TV?
If it's my TV, yes.
Oh, okay.
Like opera. If it's my TV, of course, man. You'll watch it every day. Who doesn't want to see the number one Rita Dee? Of course.
The hottest one.
No makeup. No fake shit.
The hottest one. I want you to take me through the journey of Rita Dee Entertainment back in 2012 August, Women's Month.
Yeah, it was registered in 2012 August. That's Rita Dee Entertainment's birthday, by the way. But I started 2010. Yeah, 2010. So I didn't know you have to register a company then. I just started out of the blue. My first artist was Tim and Gavini. That album, Like My Noni, was my first project.
Okay.
Like My Noni in 2010. We released it with Masana Records. That time I was still learning my grounds. Nobody believed I could make it. People thought I was crazy. People thought the Msuzano ya chansa.
Because it's like a
there's people who work for me now who used to say who I heard with my ears. But that person works for me now. I won't mention names. You know? In that order.
Yeah.
But I had to become a man to understand the male-dominated industry. I had to be one. I had to become one of them. So, which means you have to sacrifice a lot. Something like relationships, you don't have to have a man because it will be your weakest point. I have to run away from Ujola and focus on what I believe in, which is my career. Which means my sex life is my career now. My kiss is my job. You have to sacrifice a lot. Your time. If you I don't think it's baby shower and me, baby shower means money and somebody didn't go to prefer I can do this as a woman as well in a male dominated. So I had to make a lot of sacrifices. Slept in a lot of studios, slept in the ground, hiked at nights. So there's been a lot of sacrifices made, you know, there's a lot of sweat made. That's what I'm saying to Adam, but shit, nigga. Where were you when we started? I don't know to believe I come to event. There's a lot of music genres that I've changed that people never believed in. I'm saying they're dancing to it and they say it's their credit, well, else it's my job and my sacrifices.
So in short, you're part of those people who started in Vendra.
Yes, that's why not the documentaries TV and yes.
I've also seen this interview where you're talking about inventing Ven pop, Ven house, Ven what.
Yes, I invented a lot of genres. Because remember when I joined the music industry here in Venda, which was no industry by the way. That I will always say till I die. There was no industry. It was only gospel. It was only reggae. It was only traditional music. It was only cultural music. We didn't have Chivenda House. We didn't have Limpopo House. We didn't have Venrap. We didn't have Mzamanyalo. We didn't have a lot of this new Afro pops. What that are coming up. So when the development of Venrap, Diva the Avenger was there. I remember the first break. Bomo's big first break was when there was a hip hop competition, which was sponsored by Coca-Cola at Univen FM, which was hosted by Master G. High five, Master G. Yes, Murauzi. He's also one of the people that I worked with.
Okay.
Yeah, funny radio. So those are people who started the movement of Venrep. People like Wokila G, people like Wokulmesh, who's calling Mashawana now. People like Blackjack. People like Jesus. Like in the beginning, it was, I bet matrimony, it was not about money when we started. It was about the lifestyle, the hype, how we wanted it to spread outside, how hungry we were to show them. FWO, MTY, what? Like Riverside Records. Like everybody wanted to just have a piece, and that's where RDE started. And it's such a lot of companies that started then are all dead, but mine is still surviving.
Because you were there at that time, I want you to enlighten me in this issue.
Yeah.
Because I've had so many artists telling me already they invented Venrep. I don't want to dive into names, but I had a lot of people telling me they invented Venrep. When you say you invented Venrep, do you mean you gave them a platform? Oh, you
I was part of the drive.
It was you and who?
Let me tell you the truth today, because I also get a lot of calls. Different Avenger number 1, salute. Blackjack number 2, salute. Number 3, Killer G, King of Kings, number 3, right? We're talking about Venrep, not Tim and Gavini was the Kwaito superstar. He invented Kwaito at Ven, Tim and Gavini. And then from Killer G, who was the main man? Before Boma came up, after Killer G. And Miso was still in bloom. Miso came in when things were starting to sync up. I can't say he might call himself king because everybody calls themselves kings.
Because he made impact.
Yes, because he made impact. Yes, he came with this taste. Nicodemic kings of kings. Yes, Nicodemic, because remember the flow that killed Venrep and gave it a platform. Even when we can say Vimba made a big high five to Msangarazim Mvena. Vimba made it huge, but then the verse that made platforms and made impact was Nicodemic's verse on Vimba. So Nicodemic came with the flow. That ended up being the flow. Like it's not going to come Guzba. Guzba came with the flow in Israel. It's coming to be, I don't know what they call it, Ven Mapiano, whatever, but it's a new kind of flow. So Nicodemic came with that flow, that consistency Venrep for quite a certain time until it was called the Bamba. Now prefix. I don't even know if they call that Venrep. Venhop. I don't even know how they categorize it, but then they started coming with this slow, slow jams and shit. So I don't know if it's still rap, but then they call it rap. Chief for Charge also came up with a movement at Double FLR. That's where Chifonotiki came up with Giddy Boy. High five Giddy Boy. He worked so hard for the Venrep industry. Who else is missing in this catalog? FWO, yes. FWO was pushing Venrep movement in Pretoria, in Sunnyside. So the FWO had Electro Touch, Aromatic, that's where the cash flow are from. You know, that's where, I don't know if this is from FWO, but I think they're from that side as well. People like whoever his name is, I think it's out of the game as well. So,
But who is the first artist to break this industry, Venrep, when you started this thing?
To break it was Blackjack and Divo Devenge and Killer G.
Yes, people Kulmesh and
Kulmesh, remember, Kulmesh did rap and then became a DJ, which is called Meshawan. So those are the founders of whatever I can say. It's I don't know what we call that. I don't even know how to categorize that genre. Okay. But when we talk about Venrep, I look at Divo Devenge, I look at Killer G, I look at Nibomo Domo Data, and then the rest can follow. What's up Zero, they can follow, and then Abomisofil, they can follow, and then Venrep, because People's Men started as People's Men for International before Venrep was born, when he was still doing From Love to Kwaito. So that one is a superstar, born nature superstar. superstar that they can take shit from him. Belafonte is a born nature singer, Dr. Irene Mawara's son. So that one is born talent that you can take. So this one's my chance and this one's we know okay this one we know this one is my chance and is good and my chance is gifted, but my chance is my chance at the end of the day.
You will fight with the people.
I mean, I don't fight with people. I don't give a F, man. They know I don't. They know. You know, if you care about what people think about you, it only says a whole lot of things about yourself that you don't know who you are. So me, guys, I know myself. You can come slap me right now. Nah, I know. There's only one Rita Dee in this planet.
It's like you don't believe in yourself.
Yeah, that's why I'm leaving to Mauritius on Tuesday, baby. I'm passing by Nairobi. I'm doing it's music taking me there.
You will tell me about it.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
You will tell me about
I'm trying to flex here, baby.
How do you find Tim and Gavin? The time you found him, it was that big or he
was very big because remember Tim and Gavin started in
because the song was there already.
Yeah, it was big. Okay. That was his first album. So he was being managed by Movenda. I find from Msangabadzim. Msangabadzim. Even Mizo's Vimba. This project was under Msangabadzim. So that was the only label that existed this side, and Joburg was Masan. So we had to fall under something to be somebody. And then Timen had to leave Msangabadzim, and then that's where I saw an opportunity.
Okay, this is my opportunity now.
Because
first
now,
artist.
Yeah, my first art. Because now Timen had the energy, had the vibe. He was turning Venda into something else, you know. Yeah, and I only had 3 options there. It was either I was gonna work with Percy, or Timen Gavini, or Belafonte.
Oh, because Percy was so close with him.
Yeah, I grew up with him. And I knew him since we were 15. He's just a year older than me, but then since we were 15, we've always been like this.
Okay.
Forever to them dress apart. Even if we fight sometimes, but we make up most times.
In Kwaito, it was not well known.
No! Then again, our Josie, like Kwaito, it was TKZ. Then Tim and Gavin brought it here and Chiping at China. Every corner was Chiping at China. And I was like, boom, nigga. Actually, the VIP now was on ticket to the Tim and Gavin. I remember there was another project here, Mizofil. I don't think my African Dream in there and one of the two, I think it was Mapungubi. In nature, the year printed the CD, you have each and the Timen Gavini, Obade, mother of all balls, Capricorn FM, Casho, Yashaba, Timen Gavino, Obuquams, and that one, Rosram Taganoni, Coronia, and you develop in that task. I remember Timen Gavina, or what it was Tokocha album, and I think it was Mapungu because I think it was his first album. So album is real trauma. You two are actually the Timen Gavin. So
meaning if we was Timen album means so kana.
That's not one of the other rank. Yeah. Okay. Tell the truth like it is, babe.
Okay. Did you decide to register your company in August because it's Women's Month?
I didn't even know it was August. I didn't know it was even August. I started running my company without being registered.
Okay.
And then issues started coming, striking, one of the events of the government. And there's all the tenders, you know. Artists are being booked for my kids' events, maybe Department of Agriculture. Now they want papers. I don't have papers. So it was papers, company registration, BEE, like your CK stuff, your tax clearance. Like my books were not in order. I was doing it for passion, not for mine. I was doing it because the industry is me and I love entertainment and I am entertainment. So I had 2 projects coming up. So those people asked me, Rita, do you have a company? No. Is anything registered? No. So they advised me to go to, I did it the old-fashioned way, to LimDev. Leader, what. So I went there, registered my company, went to SARS myself, did tax clearance, BEE, went to some accountant, whatnot. So unfortunately it was August. So I didn't plan it. It's like the gig was September. So by August my papers were supposed to be done.
It was just a coincidence.
Because I'm a woman and it's Women's Month and I love August because August is always good to me. Now I'm saying lockdown, August has always been good to me. Like August, I always make a lot of money every August.
Oh, you mean lockdown because of Ngachivel, not the apprenticeship or Memundira?
No, because I'm now I'm sick and I won't be beside all I want to August in the 20 challenges. At the good, it's my month, summer, and then what June, Mara. I don't know. That's why Rita Dee was born. Rita Dee Entertainment was born in August.
You said you started Rita Dee Entertainment because you were seeing artists being exploited and not being paid.
Yes.
Who were those artists that were not being paid? That motivated you to start RDB?
Okay. Story up my cage. See?
Yeah.
I've never lied to me. Lying for no reason. I'd rather lie to save my life. That's why you can never expect me to apologize for something I didn't do. I only apologize when I'm wrong. And the people close to me knows, look, I can't sorry. But if I didn't do wrong, you will never die with my truth. So we're coming back there. What was the question again?
About the artist.
The ones who were exploited. Yes. Okay. I want to hey, the age is just a number. That's what I've been saying. Yeah. So age is nothing but a number. Experience counts. Yeah, so but when so this quarrel. Music and concert. Festival. My dad used to take me along. So this year's festival and I'm to maybe no for 3,000. After 2 years, I don't know trying to go there for 3,000. After 5 years, 3,000. Why? And people are excited. They want pictures. They want to collapse. Faint. My was 3,000. 18. What was staging? This is a good 3,000. No, so I like that. What's happening? This is TV. This is video. You know, I'm Muti. No, I'm generation who Florence Maseven. This is the highest Florence on all where Jews. Now, when I go to 7 on all where Vapidem or all where so wet. Now, when I go to the nation on all America, no, my job, my friend, no, Marawa, so wet. No, as a van, no, to another baby, won't you be better than Namara and be better. No one says that you can't claim those people. Madam, never be better than it. Now, I don't worry, I'm moving. Hey, look up to the below so some of the below. No one has about me, Madam, what the claim my Marawine is an hour of vote, which is no strain on our what? No, for style. That's the ones supposed to fight for their roots.
Yeah.
So that's the other reason why. Besides that reason, I was spending a lot of time with the boys in studios. It was before the anthem, yeah. I was spending a lot of time in studios. I oh, not mind. My mother was a teacher, but we don't want them Dagasi. I think border and to keep border. That's you. That's you. So, allowance. So, allowance is what she was. I'm not really this girl. I was being independent.
Okay.
But yeah, I was not that spoiled, but I had an allowance. So, an allowance is okay. Maybe pay soon an event. We feel a different 10. So, I don't want to boss. I'm going to go for a VIP, no performance. None of the day I could see young ones. Rarenges last year. See? Rarengo was one hour as this like a good one to one guy. And they put us on a drag out for I just got a show on the Nakano stage. All of the performance that one as the gates. There's one the book about second from what she was around the mama chair. Any get one. The final problem, not the letter day, young ways. Well, I'm just suffer a phone over my chair. We can is that doing any panding with Zach.
Yeah.
Regular just same thing. See? That's what I saw. And now I should not 6. It's not alcohol, and then not going to the design. I think the design and then I get to go to Mokunamur. To us, I said the film more Malanga. And then you know, I know Banana. I never event and I wear ANC. Rodrigo Dumbuda, Rodrigo. I was young then. He's a politician, he's an ANC watch. I think now he's a member of Watch Party in Parliament. The car I put in my ANC. Rodrigo was one of the people who called us that day. Ryan. Never for the Papa when I wanted to start just waiting at the Banadu. Let's start to cool. I never hear about Lamuna with my Benz and I have got some more than the young. One said Zabalam and I'm not open. Came better. Hey! I'm not going to watch my cousin, and I want it, and I can't wait and I chance. No, I don't want to watch you at the. Oh, I can't be on that. And the husband, I'm not going to check the power in it. Meaning, I'm not saying I'm a politician as tomb. Yeah. What I said, they'll mean that I didn't know to cut you about. Cut the grain. But you've done cash. How much more than a fair as the How much was it? It was 2.5. Yeah, it was a lot for us then. It was a lot. Come here, 25,000. Yeah. And you're Mahama Jit. That's why I'm going to visit. I'm not going to parachute. No. Tell me the Zaka. You go for the dash or your Tom. Yamuli, Yamuraru, Yam. I'm taking my money back. Yeah. I am a tattoo. Mana, there's a very little. Now, I'm going to change you. I'm a never spend a having can you so from that day, I had event my trouble didn't begin with Navarita. Ragazzi or ask you about it. We had the guinea, which is kind of Mavarita. Oh, I thought the so that's how it started. Oh, okay, me, I can do this. So I didn't want. Yeah. I had I still have the courage. Me. I'm a lion inside. I want them both.
And then after Jimin, you sang to Bure. Were you the DJ?
Okay. Going too far. Before T-Man, Loyana Shumana Kaiwa production and Fitzone Productions. Okay. H1 River Complex, you find Wangabana, Yabam, one of you Umbrani Sigo. Namudirkalam, the Masters of Film, Fitzone Productions, Masters of Film. That was what I typed to the Modura, which bring Chapter of the Verdura and Timin, Tangana, I could vote this year for Little Paradise. So, I have an idea. I want to do something called Zunde music. I'm not very sure. I was at the music. So this one I will Phoenix, I would DJ, I would try the studio, share Now the son of the King Rep. HB na easy things. Now I sign up a to write a album millions and go over. I'm Valentine. Vanimon. Hi, son. I don't know what happened. Because I the movie and so something was not working right. Oh, okay. Yeah, so then the Konoja, Mabalan just set him as a Zunda and then the Vakazunda, then that's when I signed Tim and Gavin. That's when we started making money. So we started making money. And then from Tim and Gavin, then that's my name. That's what I was called the Mink. Okay. Nadana Shimana, the replay dance career, typically being I changed his life in the replay dance career Shandima. And then from the replay dance crew, Nadana Shimana, Manana Musa Kamanis, Nadana Shimana, Narachaki. Before they were not, why is there? I made them baby. And I'm trying to album if they were not that. See? Then Nadana Jam Makats. Nadanda sana Chibreburi, Nadanda Jia Rams, Gapela Tamraga, I mean, now cool at Mother. And then Nadanda Shumana, Nashmana and Chatifin Lil G. Nashumana, I don't forget what people I've worked with them because everybody has a mark. Nadanda, even dancers around. Nadanda Shumana, Naking Cruiser, Nadanda Shumana Trojan. Nadana Shimana with the DJ. Nadana Shimana before we the raps were full. Nadana Shimana people say. Nadana Shimana Bella Fox. Como você é bom ama. big-headed bad. You know yourself.
Mr. Major ties on.
Not Mr. Major. Not Mr. Major. Because I hardly sign MCs and comedians. Mr. Major, I was just trying that, but it's not my strongest point. And then Mr. Major is just that he's but I'm trying to I didn't really, he was more like family to me. So that's why maybe no matter, it's not Mr. Major, it's someone who knows himself, and I will never say till death do us part.
And then beside Major, a comedian or was MC Nabundu food.
And Nashimana Boom, yes. I think I worked with him for like 4 or 5 years. Yes.
Correct me if maybe I'm wrong, but cover to the Bamba, I will not on magazine and then I will like what.
I don't know what happened to her. She was my first rap artist.
Okay, but my question is, you hardly work with female artists. What is the reason?
Okay, this is the reason why. Remember, I'm not really sexually inflated. And I don't believe in sleeping your way up. Sexually active. Remember, I'm straight and I'm not lesbian, but people think I'm lesbian because they don't know who I date. And I'm very secretive with what I do in my personal space. So, their weakest point is sex. So one thing that I've trained my mind and my heart and my body ecosystem inside is at controlling and at controlling. So there's no decision that I've ever made in my life because of this. So once they cannot be controlled. So I'm different from 90% of what a female is. So because I have more of a male dominated part of me. But and the Magitania control so yeah, I just, not because I don't love empowering women. So far in my company, I have 8 females in my office, and those females are hardworking females. Opera from different, they are my sister soldiers. That opera in different angles, and I'm building them to be dangerous weapons in the industry behind the scenes, not in front. Because in front, it seems as if females in the industry become so big-headed that you cannot control. But behind the scenes, they feel the power. They tend to be me when I'm not there. That's why if I'm not in South Africa, I know my company is running in South Africa very well. I know my projects are not stopping because those women are well trained. So when I'm not the face of the company, I am the face of the company and I'm not big-headed. So you can't expect them to be big-headed. So to them, that title comes with strength. It does not come with popularity.
I get you. You didn't mention Dori, manager. I understand that. But there are some people that are out here. Whether they are unsettled rumors, your real guys are not in good terms.
Okay.
I want you to mention their names one by one. Ambuzori, why go Bakar Dee.
Okay.
Can you do that?
I can do that.
Okay, let's start with Tim and Gavin.